Published, 6:04 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 22nd of July 2018. Updated, 6:31 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 22nd of July 2018. England played party poopers in San Francisco as they knocked out the USA in sudden death extra time on their home turf in the World Cup quarter-final. With the scores level at 19 all come full-time, thanks to 2 tries from Dan Norton, and 1 from Ollie Lindsay-Hague for England, and Madison Hughes, Baker and Folau Niua for the States. It meant it was first-point wins. Early into extra time, captain Tom Mitchell looked left to see a huge hole behind the U.S. defense, and Phil Burgess lurking on the wing. His crossfield kick to his man, who trundled through the remaining yards to score and shoot down the Eagles. Phil Burgess left scored the decisive try and celebrated with James Rodwell in extra time. Tom Mitchell produced a brilliant crossfield kick in sudden death for Burgess to cross, and in the tunnel afterwards the England players were delighted to have been the hunters, albeit in nerve-jangling fashion. "It was ridiculous," said Norton. "I looked up and it was one of our slow guys. I was just hoping he had enough legs to make it. It was a ridiculous kick from Mitch, on the money in that kind of cauldron. It was bang on. For Phil to have the peace of mind to catch that and touchdown was incredible. There cannot be many more efficient ways to thin out a stadium than that." Almost as soon as Burgess had scored the winner, Eagles were replaced by swooping Seagulls. The Birds dived in from the bay to pick at the detritus the American fans had left behind in their seats. The women's event may have had 8 matches to play at that point, including the World Cup final, but American dream was over. "Of course we used the atmosphere to our advantage," said Lindsay-Hague. "We knew how tough it was going to be playing a host nation in their country and with how loud that crowd was." Ollie Lindsay-Hague crossed for a try and the scores were level at 19-19 at full-time. "We used it as momentum and for building ourselves to get through for the win. We've come a long way this year. I think at the start of the year we probably would have lost that game. How hard we've worked this year has come through, and we found the bounce of the ball went our way and we came away with a win against a home country. We were saying how good that team has been all year, and to get on top of them in their own nation is incredible. World Rugby chiefs must have been tearing their hair out, as the hosts' defeat means that none of their matches on Sunday truly matter." The tournament and way the draw fell was set up for them to reach at least a semi-final, but the best the Americans can do now is finish 5th. "It sucks," said a distraught Danny Barrett, one of the USA stars. "We lost at home in a World Cup quarter-final. It's not easy. The bounce of a ball can win or lose it for you. It was a hell of a cross-field kick to win it. If England are now to win the World Cup, they will have deserved it." Next is the South African Blitzbok, champions of the World Series for the past 2 years, then a meeting with either Fiji or New Zealand. Danny Barrett admitted he was gutted to lose on home soil as the USA were dumped out. "The most audacious move of the day, of course, came from the Flying Fijians. When already 2 tries up in their quarter-final against Argentina, Toulon's Joshua Tuisova, him of the impossibly large thighs, hammered down his right wing when presented with an eager defender. Then, like a penalty taker waiting for the goalkeeper's first move in this summer's other World Cup, he, without slowing down, allowed Lautaro Bazinveles to attempt his low-diving tackle. And while the South American was airborne, Tuisova performed a stupendous move, hurtling over the hapless defender before running in for the try. Jaws hit the floor and Fijians lifted from their seats as one, dancing, waving their blue flags and generally going spare. Joshua Tuisova scored a brilliant try after jumping over a defender in the quarter-final. That was that for Argentina, overpowered, not the first and by no means the last to be embarrassed by the Supreme Islanders. Fiji eventually won 43-7 and will meet New Zealand in the main competition semi-final. All evidence from Saturday points to Fiji making the final. The All Black Sevens were extremely fortunate to beat France 12-7 despite having 3 men sin-binned in the 14 minutes. Scotland were South Africa's victims. They hardly were allowed an iota of possession as the Boks won 36-5. Unfortunately, after the US men had vanished from the tournament, so did the fans. The culmination of the women's draw was played in front of a house barely a tenth of the size as earlier in the day, a real shame. New Zealand's Black Ferns defended their World Cup with ease, beating France 29-0 with Michaela Blythe scoring a hat-trick. Michaela Blythe scored a hat-trick for New Zealand as the Black Ferns breezed through the now hold both women's titles, having won the 15th World Cup in Northern Ireland last year. There was more disappointment for the hosts as the USA lost to Australia 24-14 and finished fourth. And really, it was easy. They only conceded 21 points, 3 tries, in their 4 matches. The England women meanwhile blitzed all before them in the bottom half of the draw. They only conceded 1 try after their poor defeat to Ireland on Friday, beating Mexico 59-0, China 38-0 and Japan 31-5 to finish a thoroughly disappointing 9th. Captain Abby Brown said, "Obviously it was a bit disappointing. Well, it was very disappointing. It wasn't where we wanted to be, but actually we showed what we are capable of in putting in those performances against some good teams."